To keep in the spirit of how we normally do it, Stephen's not here, we will do the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you could all rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, so tonight what we're going to start with is we have Nancy Riker that's going to give us an update about the Community Center's Fall Craft Fair.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. On Saturday, 18th, I really hope that everyone can support us for a celebration and activities. It's not on it. It's from the fair too. And thank you. Do support the activities and operations of the building. We do have statements, woodworking, gold silk lotions and natural lotions, jams, jellies, maple syrup, sweet treats, cards, jewelry, photography, and art, among other things as well. Hope to see you here, and thank you for your time.
That's October 18th, correct? October 18th. Okay. Just a quick reminder that we do have refreshments in the back. Help yourselves to lights and waters. Please, we have those back there. And also, if you have not yet purchased a 50/50 raffle ticket, please be sure to do that if you could. And so now we're going to get started with North Utica 6th Ward Councilman Joe Betrus.
Thank you.
That one off again?
Thanks a lot for coming, everybody. See everybody.
Just a little bit.
Hello? Yeah, I got a big one. Okay. Thank you all. It's been a beautiful summer. We're going to get back to things this weekend. So over the summer, we only had one meeting in August. We have meetings tomorrow night, and then we have our council meeting on Wednesday. So I'm going to take comparison. I'm going to take questions from you guys if you have anything specific. I know we are working a couple of pieces of legislation. Support under on it. I'm sure the other council people are. One of those nuisance abatement, people's properties, not taking care of the property, and some of the stuff that's there. And then we also we have proposal of graffiti. There's a lot of graffiti being painted and different stuff, and there's a proposal on where the city will come back and take care of it. And you're going to be charged for it. It's on your so that's hasn't gone through. It's just different ideas. You've seen what happened to the skate park over in at Prather Park. It's a beautiful park. People come in there, spray paint and do stuff. So we're trying to do stuff like that. Then we'll go through. We'll get into our regular September 2 meetings, and of course I'll be here for you guys whenever you need me. As all know. Call me at any time. So at that point, if anybody's got any questions, I know the one thing I will say, so everybody knows, in North Utica by the old Food Line building, the dance studio, and a lot of property cleared. that is gonna be, the owners have a business with some vehicles. I just came by there now. If you go by there at nighttime, the dance studio is packed with cars. So they cleared that out and they're making that a parking lot for this commercial vehicles. It's not a car wash. When we talked about a car wash before, that would be across the street from the top of the morning. The lot is cleared out.
Okay.
But he has not, the contractor has not come to the city and went for any permits, so don't have any update on that. That's it. Okay. What's that?
Tell him to check with the water board before he does anything.
He doesn't have to check with anybody. It's zoned for that, so he doesn't have to check with that. It wasn't zoned. Okay, well, I'm sure that when you go and get permits, that's what would happen. So progress is good in a lot of things, especially when everybody sits there and worries about tax levies. And when you want, so we like new businesses, we can get people in to help us, so we're not paying the taxes that we pay. Yes, Dave.
So you're saying there's dealing with legislation on graffiti?
We haven't even, it's just a plan, it's
Okay,
coming,
but
yeah.
you're discussing it, and one of the things that you just mentioned is that if there's graffiti on your building that you own, and if it's not taken off, the city will do it and charge you for it?
If you don't take care of it yourself,
It's on a private building.
if you don't take care of it on yourself, and like we said, we haven't got, we need to do something, because people are, these kids and whoever they are, going around painting stuff, and stuff just stays there all over. So we're just trying to clean it up and make it better. We haven't gotten, I probably shouldn't even have brought that up, but I just want you guys to know that we are working on some things.
I tell you right now, the stuff they're using is very difficult to remove. When I was in business, we used to deal with a lot of that.
Right.
And you could do a lot of damage if you don't know how to clean it.
Right.
And so my fear would be is that the city would go in and do damage to the building. Because you
The city has the stuff to do
You just
it.
can't pressure watch.
They don't. Just the way you've seen what they've done when they painted a few years ago all monuments and Parkway, they did a great job. You're right. If it's on aluminum siding or vinyl siding, you're right. But that we'll get to that point when we come. But we just want people to recognize we know it's fine. Trying to feel happy.
I think you need to check with the lawyers that you have.
Right.
To make sure that they can do that on private.
Well, it's no different than your private property and somebody doesn't cut the grass and we go cut their grass and go take care of all that stuff.
But you've already said there's a code in there, okay? There isn't a code now.
Right.
So what I'm saying is check with your legal department and make sure that what you're going to do.
And that's why we're having a committee meeting with lawyers and with people tomorrow. Like I said, I probably shouldn't have brought this up, but I'm just telling you that we are looking at what happened in the parks and all that stuff. I'm doing something to try to prevent it, to make it better.
No, they are.
Hang on, Mr. Gordon. Yes.
I just had a question, Bob. They would see it, bright yellow sign by house.
Yeah.
It's popping up everywhere. I know if it's on somebody's private property, you can't take it, but let's say they're like, somewhere.
Yeah, they shouldn't be there, and we in PW or parks or different people see them, they do take them down. But a lot of times, they nail them to telephone poles, and yeah, I've seen them too,
I
yes.
just want to know if somehow they should go missing.
Yeah,
Would a person taking this get in trouble?
well, I'm not gonna tell you to take them down or.
I threw the one that was outhouse out.
Yeah.
It's in your.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the right, it was in the right of way, but
Catch them. They do with them if they catch the kids.
Well, you know what, that's another part of the problem.
They can clean it.
They can, but the
Yes.
other part of the problem is the way the law raise the age, full offender status, bail reform. That's part of the reason we're seeing all this stuff, because basically the other administration from 2019 to present is a free-for-all, and everybody can do whatever they want. And so now things are getting a little bit tougher, and hopefully we can, do abuse and stuff, but, I mean, just the same thing, you know, like you see these panhandlers, you see litter, you know, police officers pick a guy up, panhandler, one hand, one in the involved, because it's a state law that they're on, you know, if they're in front of Price Chopper just go down. If they're on a corner there, you can't do anything. But if you see them throwing garbage and littering, you can pick them up for littering. And you know what happens when you pick them up for littering? Police officer comes off the street for 2 hours, goes to the police station, and they let the guy out. And he looks back and he's right back there. It's the same thing. Well, you can pick up the garbage, but
It's
the
the
same.
old old fashioned.
Yeah, I agree with you. The way it happens that way. So, anything else? You guys are easy. Thank you.
Okay, up next we have County Legislator Mike Gentile.
Thank you. So I will, Bo asked a question about the process, with boarding up houses. So pretty much that is prioritized between, if it's a absentee landlord type situation and that there's a visible, people going in and out, that's when it'll trigger the city doing boarding up a house. So, and then that's put on their taxes and we go from there. So I mentioned one on large font the other, probably a week or so ago. And so that's kind of the process there. You see it quite often. Part of some legislation that we're working on as well is when we are boarding up houses, it's for boarding up businesses, like if you see down on Genesee Street next to the Fort Schuyler Club, that's all been painted black to make it more aesthetically pleasing. Obviously, ultimately, we want business open there, but at least it's better than the plain plywood. We did the same thing with N.U.N.A, which they painted to match their colors, the color of their brick and stuff too. So just, we don't want to deal with that eyesore of boarded up houses to begin with, or boarded up businesses to begin with. So at least it makes it slightly more aesthetically pleasing on that. Couple things working on at the county level. I know Mr. Flisnik will speak pretty in depth, but I wanted to just talk about two things as county legislator that I'm working on. In this area right here, there's the lighting that is totally out. So when it's dark at night, it's pitch black on this bend here. I'm working with the county to secure funding to fix that. I'm pretty confident that that's something that we can see be realized. And the other thing is I asked for pricing on doing micro paving on N.U.N.A, which has been a area. Obviously, there are several streets and places, and but within North Utica, within this district, there's not county Cranford. So other than like the train station, bigger things. So one of the things that's important and that I'm working on is securing funding to make those things easier and better for our community. So those are two things that I'm really working on. Hopefully, one or both.
He's working budget as we speak with his team, and we'll present it to the full board in October. We'll have about a month to look at it, dissect it, make adjustments, amendments, and vote on it in November. Some concerns I have with this year's budget. We had increases in OIN money, nation money revenue, that tax money revenue increases. and also sales tax. Pretty substantial. After COVID, the numbers went up. Every one of those three areas, which helped our budget. We're not seeing that. This year, that budget line for sales tax, the budget line for that tax revenue is going to flatten out. So we got to be concerned with that. For some reason, OIN money is still going up quite a bit. There's a lot of gamblers out there, and the revenue still continues to come in. So that's it with the budget front. Again, that's upcoming. One of the big items in the past couple of months is Chobani, where they're going to be building a manufacturing plant. The base, Chobani, we just got the announcement with a FAST grant, and that grant is going to be approximately $43 million. Part of it, we have to have a match of about $4.5 million. This will be our second state grant, and it's mainly for infrastructure to get the land and utilities ready. That plan in that's going to hopefully employ up to 1,000 individuals. Interesting fact about that Chobani plant, obviously it's going to help farmers not only locally, regionally, outside the state. They're going to need 12 million pounds of milk a day to produce what they need to do at the plant. That's the projection. So it's not just going to benefit local farmers, and actually they're going to have to go out of the state to get this kind of product. So that's good news. That's good news on all fronts, as far as I'm concerned. Another issue relating to ag, we just had our groundbreaking for 16,000 square feet addition to Cornell Cooperative Extension, and that costs quite a bit of money. Most of it is bonded for at $7.2 million. So that's a few of the highlights. What questions do people have for me? Yeah.
Richard, are we looking at a lot of road construction up there at where the Chobani's going? I mean, we're talking a lot of tankers coming in. And can they handle what's going to be coming in, or are we going to be seeing, more road construction to handle it? Because 12.3 million pounds of milk a day, quite a bit.
You raise a good point, Dick. I don't have the answer for you, quite honestly, right now. The infrastructure buildup, the initial buildup had to do with power lines, power, and site development. As far as the roads, whole part of it is going to be the $44 million. I'm sure they're going to have to shore up some of the roads. Some of the roads had already been worked on through the decades, taking over the base and the development of the business center. I'm not sure if anybody's been down there recently, but with the roundabouts and the roads, it looks really nice down there. Done a really nice job.
You brought up a good point with power. Is the power sufficient?
We're being told it is. They wouldn't come unless it's sufficient now, or it will be sufficient. For them to invest about $1 billion, they better have their ducks lined up, and I think they do. They're a corporation, they're a local company that has thrived, done really well in New York State. They were looking at Michigan, we enticed them, the state enticed them, stay local, to stay in New York State. So hopefully it's going to be a big winner for us. Question?
Yeah, I do. How many miles did you say that road?
600.
600 miles. But 1 mile in the city of Utica.
Right. There's a couple miles of Rome. Why, I can't answer that question. But a lot of towns, like I represent town Marcy. Half of our roads are town, half county. So anything pertaining to the county road, taken care of, maintained.
Just as a city of Utica resident, I get my property taxes. I pay X amount of dollars to the city of Utica, and I pay almost that same Oneida County. But yet, we don't get any county assistance for our roads. So where are all these roads? Are they within homes and villages in Oneida?
They're in town, it's not villages.
So these teams should be paying basically more money than we are, because they're paying for roads.
Well, you're not getting services as far as road improvement, but there are other benefits. Let me bring this up. When we got $46 million in COVID money, if you check where that money went, predominantly, not to say all of it, but a huge portion of that money did not go to towns and villages. It came right back to Utica. Big projects, and obviously one of the biggest one being hospital garage, we a lot of money into that, which is obviously going to Utica. But a lot of our tax dollars, all county residents, goes to social services. Our budget is about $550 million. And about $183 million, give or take a couple million, go to social services. And where is that money going to? Majority is Utica. So you're not getting the roads, but you're benefiting with county tax dollars.
That brings up another subject.
Okay.
266,000 people in Oneida County. If you take the city of Utica and the city of Rome,
About 100,000 total.
say about 100,000, so you're talking maybe about 40%.
Population right now in our county is 232,000. That was based on the last census. The only reason I would know that is because every 10 years we have to do a redistricting. And I know each representative represents about 10,000 residents, as I do, as Mike does. So we have about 232. Go ahead.
Right, so with the cities having about 40% population, but yet if you, when you brought up social services, if you look at the people that are collecting social services, probably about 90% of them live within the two cities.
You could be right. I'm not sure.
So whenever there needs to be housing constructed for people that are using social service benefits, instead of putting everything in the city of Utica and the city of Rome, why doesn't the county start thinking about putting it out in some of these towns and villages? So these people
It's a wonderful
can be
idea.
dispersed all over.
Transportation.
Bad idea. Obviously,
Here's another fact.
let me finish. Typically, if you do have a need for social services, you want to have the providers as close to the constituents as possible. And fortunately or unfortunately, a lot of providers for social services are within. So it does make some sense when you do construction and rebuilds, building out of units to live in, you want them close to providers. All right?
All right, to contradict that point, another thing social services depends on is commercialized homes, do their shopping, buy their clothing and things like that. City of Utica is probably like 1% of United County's commercial. New Hartford would be the greatest place of all. Socialized living. Take our schools. They did a survey. They took the 9 worst schools in New York State. Graduation rates. Utica rates number 9 in New York State. The top 5 are in New York City. Take that away, the other 4 are in upstate New York. We're the 4th largest school district in New York State for graduation rate. And a lot of it is people that are on social services are dropping out of school. Don't you think, like I do, wouldn't it be better to have schools for social service assets in Hartford, Clinton, Kirk, when places like this, let these kids intermingle with other people, Whitesboro School, Hardwick School. Maybe they would stay in school longer and graduate and hopefully.
It's not a bad idea, but I think it is a fallacy to think that other districts, rural districts, and even speak of Whitesboro, which is a good school district, we do have schools that are identified as free lunch and breakfast because they hit the threshold, as most Utica schools do, with low income. So if you think that, talking Whitestown, a little bit about Whitestown, because I represent part of Whitestown. If you think everybody in Whitestown has a lot of money, and case, it really is. Yes. There's a couple of elementary schools that qualify for free lunch and breakfast for the whole school. You can argue about that, whether everybody should get free lunch and breakfast, whether you're low income or not. I have a problem with that personally, unless you qualify. But go ahead.
All well and good with the free breakfast program and so on. But for over 40 years, I've wanted to see the high schools get like we're supposed to be getting in Proctor for the trades. We desperately need people in the trades. For years, my son, 15 years ago, said there was a dire shortage of electricians. What would we do if we didn't have electricity? Or anything like that, carpentry, all the trades. How is that coming at Proctor? I know they cut an upper level off that building in the plans, right?
I don't want to speak for Proctor or the school board. I have enough challenges with the county and what's
Have
telling
you heard
varsity.
anything about?
I haven't. I haven't. But you're absolutely right.
Who sees it's been Lucy's has been way up in New Hartford. We need it.
So we regroup. There's a question over here. Go ahead.
Yes, in section of everybody, services in Utica.
And not everybody, but there's.
A good share.
Sure.
Mr. Briggs and I here agree that a lot of it has to do with transportation that's available to these people. I know there are buses that go to the shopping areas in New Hartford, some of them, but it's not to the extent that they're around Utica, and I'm not sure what they do in Rome. Well, I'm sure that has something to do with it.
Yeah, UTA basically combined. We ended up merging many years ago. Part of it is financed by mortgage tax throughout the county, not just Utica, but Rome and all the surrounding towns and villages. Part of your mortgage tax, which is 1.25%, was increased actually from 1.25%, which doesn't sound like much, and that helped to fund our working with and combining with Central. So the busing issue has not been solved, but it's gotten better. And going back to your BOCES, if you're in a district, you have an opportunity, if you sign up for vocational, which are needed, to be transported to BOCES and carpentry. There's all these programs, but you're absolutely right, vocational is needed. And I think we did a disservice, quite honestly, as parents, as guidance counselors, as educators for 20 years, not recommending kids to go to vocational trades instead of the need to go to four-year schools when kids did not even know what they were going to school for. So finally, I think things have changed, and we're in desperate times. Try to call for an electrician, a plumber. Good luck. Good luck getting somebody to call you back and them showing up and doing a good job. But it is a crisis. I think educators are finally addressing it.
Thank you.
I think part of the problem is you could have as many programs as you want for these kids to attend to. It doesn't make a bit of difference if nobody wants to attend them.
Well, exactly.
You need to make them interesting enough for the kids want to attend them.
You know what makes it interesting for the kids? When they see, if they're educated, what plumbers, journeymen, apprentices are making as electrician, carpenters.
What makes it interesting
That's an incentive.
is when they find out that they can get a paid apprenticeship,
Oh, yeah.
so that they can actually make money while they're learning. They don't know that. Understandable, but the kids nowadays don't know that. And they don't know that because we're not telling them that. Yeah, none of them do.
Well, it's up to the parents, it's up to the
Exactly. It's up to
education.
the parents, it's up to the
Educators get
educator.
word out.
And I think he's right. We've all done a terrible job at that lately.
Yeah, any other questions? Thank you.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and select the 50/50. $31 is the bucket tonight. All right, we've got 512973.
Oh my.
Okay. There you go. Congratulations. All right, we just have a few announcements to go over. Once again, refreshments are in the back. Please help yourselves. Next month, September 22nd, our meeting will be a chance to meet the 5 candidates that are running for the 3 seats on the Common Council at Large position. So our guests will be Jack Lemetico, Samantha Colosimo Testa, Tomano, Heather Wesluski, and Richard Delberto. Also, the West Utica Neighborhood Association meets on Wednesday, September 10th at 6 p.m. at the Irish Cultural Center on Columbia Street. They will also have the at-large candidates that night as well. So if you can't make it on September 20th here in West Utica, it'll be on September 10th. Reminder again about the craft fair, that's October 18th from 10 to 3. Yes. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. And then also just a friendly reminder that Mike and Joe have office hours from 5:30 to 6:30 on the night of the meeting. So if anybody has any pertinent questions that they'd like to ask about, they can always come from 5:30 to 6:30 on the same night as the meeting and ask Joe or Mike. They will be here. Yes, and you can call Joe as well, anytime. And then also, as far as for the paving goes, the website is paveutica.com. If you click on the link that says full street view, it's all color coordinated. It will show you every street in Utica, and it'll show you where they are on the list, if they're on the list, and where they are at in their paving process. Okay, so it's paveutica.com. And then up next, we're going to have our Deerfield Town Supervisor, Greg Sacco. So everybody give Greg a warm welcome. I believe this is his first time here with us. And please be respectful, be mindful, save your questions to the end, okay? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I also have with me Gabe Greco, he's from the planning board. Just if we have any other questions that I can't answer, Gabe may have some answers for you. I just want to give a little brief overview, kind of a timeline of where the project started and where we're at now. So in the fall of 2024, Padstone Development expressed an interest in developing roughly 7 acres of property located north of Bank of America off of Horatio Street. The plans include a 65-unit apartment building and a daycare center. A letter was sent to Padstone Development in 2024 by the town board outlining our objectives that relate to the Town of Deerfield Comprehensive Master Plan as they apply to the housing development, specifically the need for housing for the town's aging population. May 7th, 2025, a site plan review application is submitted by Padstone Development to the planning board. for the proposed project in its conceptual phase. The planning board meeting was held to review the plans that were submitted that day, same thing through June. And the planning board continued to review these plans. We had a joint meeting between the town board and the planning board to discuss the plans. August 6th of 2025, the site plan application was recognized by the planning board as completed. A resolution thereby adopted to designate the planning board as lead agency for the site plan review application submitted by Pat Stone Development. And the seeker, it's a state environmental quality review short environmental assessment form, parts 2 and 3 are completed by the planning board. And after completion of that, I'll just give a little update. The following agencies will now give recommendations to the planning board regarding the site plan review application. Those agencies are the New York State Department of Transportation, New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, United County Planning Department, United County Department of Public Works, Long Valley Water Authority, the City of Utica, the Town of Marcy, and the Whitesboro Central School District. That's really just the timeline of where we're at. The project is where it's at. Nothing's been set in stone yet. It's been no yes or no to the project. And I'd like to, before I open it up for review questions, we also have a representative from a developer that's Jim Pebble, if you'd like to come up. His group is looking to develop the area south of Bank of America. So I'll let him give a little overview of what they're looking to do, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Good evening. I have some plan here. I realize it's small, so if anybody wants to come up.
We can hear you.
Okay.
Will you please
Project.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks.
Good evening. My name is Jim Pamplio. I'm the engineer and manager for Christian Development. Originally putting up around a 57-acre multi-use site. Back in 23, around the fall of 23, we made an application to the town of Deerfield for a conceptual plan to put in a multi-use development site. This site runs along Horatio Street southbound and borders the SUNY Poly. The north side of it is Mulaney Road, and the east side of it is Seymour Ave, which is the entrance to SUNY, okay? Where we are now, since then, Pat Stone came along, and we actually divided the project because it was non-contiguous with the rest of our site. So about 7 acres that Greg talked about was taken out of our original concept, and now Pat Stone is applied independently with his own engineer to make site plan approval. So that project, like Greg said, is in the site plan approval process. The big milestone we hit last year was we had the site rezoned. This property was originally zoned for highway commercial only. Knowing that we needed to put in a multi-use development, we have rezoned it to planned development extraordinary, which means you can do a mix of housing and commercial development. We actually got that approval I think last January of this year. We got approval, so now that property's been rezoned for mixed use. Since then, we've gone to SUNY Poly, met with the president and his board about what we were going to do because we were going to be a neighbor to them. We also approached Wolfspeed, Danforth, and now we're looking to have talks with Giovanni. So we've been to the county executive, we've been to a bunch of legislators to say, what do you need? What do you need? What's the need in the area for this project? SUNY basically said, we need housing really bad, and we need a hotel really bad, and we need daycare really bad. Daycare we thought would never come. Well, when Pesto came along with their project, they said we're going to have a daycare center as a part of that project. We decided to contact SUNY. They were related because it's got a high population of older adults who are going to school. They have children dropping off their babies in Utica. when we can have a daycare center right next door to them. I'm totally elated by that. We were excited. So this 65 unit Passtone development, I don't represent Passtone, is going to include a 80-person, I think, daycare. We basically told them that's not enough, but that's as much as they can fit in that site. The good news is, so many colleges can get what they asked for. The other things we're working on right now is hotel. We're talking to a couple of hotels, corporations. We also are looking at off-campus student housing market rate, because the college is in desperate need for housing. Like I said, we're also going to meet with Giovanni to see their needs in terms of housing or commercial development. So I don't know how good you can see it, and I apologize, it's the largest we got. But this is the whole site. Once again, this is Mulaney Road, this is Horatio Street, north-south arterial, and that is Seymour Ave. This is no longer a part of our project. The remaining project now. Yeah, I know. You know what? You want to put it right in the middle, and I can talk. If you get right in the middle, I can talk right out of here.
I'll do that.
Okay, now we got it.
You can't see it.
There we go.
Just to give a brief overview, I really want to answer you.
Yeah.
No.
Had it?
Might have turned off. Now watch your thumb on the button.
Okay, so once again, this is where Passtone's project is going to be, 65 unit, 3-story apartment building and daycare center. So this is no longer a part of the project. The project now, when we reapply, and our engineering is done for the whole site, when we reapply, it's going to start here and go all the way to here, okay? So what we found recently is we're only going to be able to build less than half of what we originally intended to build. Our principals are not happy about that. We just met with them yesterday. There's a stream that runs through this site, okay? Environmentally, we have to go through the same process that Passtone is going through. It's called the State Environmental Quality Review Agency. Okay, because we're going to go through that process. That means the agencies that Greg mentioned, the DOT, DEC, Army Corps, National Grid, probably Marcy and SUNY will all be able to comment. They'll be involved agencies because they're going to have some type of permitting to do. Okay, so where we are now, when we reapply, we need to keep a buffer along this stream after talking with our environmental engineers, we hired consultants. We also did a traffic study, so we did a hydrological study for stormwater runoff. I can get into that. So now we have to basically pare down how much we're going to develop. And we're finding out that most of the development that will occur is going to be along Horatio Street. So a lot of this area here will probably remain heavy vegetation because of the environmental constraint we're going to be under. So process-wise, going back to the town, we're going to keep our engineering documents because we always have a so they don't want to throw that away. So we're going to present the project. We don't want to confuse anyone. This is going to be confusing. We're going to present the project as a whole. So all our numbers that we're generating is representing if this thing was fully developed. We know that's not going to happen. It can't. So basically, we're over-analyzing the site. But we figure it's better to overanalyze than to underanalyze and have something happen in the future. So that's where we are right now. Owners are deciding what to do and how to now reshape this concept plan, because we had 11 sections, 11 lots, if you will, different uses. Probably gonna end up with maybe 5 or 6 when it's all done. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Far as you have to have, way the water is right now.
Yeah.
You guys have to come and.
Yeah, let me get it. You're partially right, yeah. Yeah. One of the conditions we have to do with DEC and Army Corps is New York State has a regulation. When you build, and I've been in the development business now for 41 years, I worked for Department of Transportation for 41 years, I'm retired, I work for what the DEC and Army Corps says.
Speak up a little bit, will you?
Ease up.
Like maybe the volume on that thing, I don't know.
You hear me? I don't use the.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes.
Maybe just hold it a little closer.
Turn the volume up or something, will you?
Have to do, we have to maintain, discharge. What that means is whatever's coming into the site now, today, nothing on it. When we're all done with our building, our paving, roof lines, sidewalk, whatever we have in there, that discharge has to be exactly the same. Now, how that's gonna be checked is we have to submit to the town this environmental impact statement, it's called. What that does is it identifies all the impacts from this project: traffic, water, wastewater, wetlands, archaeological, everything. It's in the study, this report that goes to the town. The town takes a look at it, they distribute it to all the agencies, DOT, DEC, Army Corps, National Grid, Mohawk Valley Water Authority. Everybody gets a copy of it. Everybody gets an opportunity to comment on it. To your point, what, in terms of runoff, we cannot discharge 1 cubic foot per second more than what's coming out of there now. And they ask you, well, how do you do that? Well, we have to use federal and state guidelines, regulations, and methods. Engineers have to use those methods in order to estimate or predict what is going to happen. And we do it for 100-year storm. That's a pretty heavy storm. That's that's July floods of way back when. So we have to do it for 100-year storm. So to that question, whatever's coming out into this creek, into this big ditch line here, okay, they'll end up diverting here. There's also a culvert goes under Seymour Road. You guys know about that, right? Mm-hmm. It runs down to your neighborhoods. Whatever's coming into there now comes in there after we're done. And their engineers have to approve our work. So does DEC, so does Army Corps, so does DOT, and all these other agencies. They have to look at the report and say, okay, we accept your findings, we accept your work. So that's how we know that when we leave, what was discharging then will be discharging now when the site's done. I'm sorry.
How many housing units?
Well, right now we don't know. Currently, we're talking to, like, say, 2 hotel chains, it's not housing. We are talking to somebody who wants to look at putting up off-campus housing, assuming needs off-campus housing, once again, for the graduate doctorate program to start off. So, and also in the town of Deerfield, there's a height limit, so we can't go over 3 stories because of fire protection. We're talking not only Deerfield, but Marcy, to back this up. So is Gadsden. So, I don't know the number because we haven't got anybody fully committed yet. We're looking for letters of intent, LOIs, okay? To say, okay, we intend to come into your site. Right now, we don't have anybody that said I'm coming. We've talked to a lot of people. We're working up some estimates right now. So I can't really give you
that number, but we did use density question. We used density to figure out how much traffic would be generated. So what we did is we said, okay, this is, 10 was, let's say property 10 was going to be 5 acres, which you won't have enough. It was 10 acres. Our engineers estimate the density that could go on a 10 acre site. There's all kind of books, there's all kind of change, all kind of data that we use to generate the amount of density that we use. That's how we came up with our traffic report. I can tell you right now, the traffic report is completed and that we have no traffic in it.
Oh, that's flawed, because that street coming down, even on a weekend, is busy.
Yeah.
And we live in that section, and we use that road to get out onto the arterial and travel.
Yep.
So that's gonna affect all of our traffic. And
Well-
fast food, you got the apartment complex, it's gonna affect the businesses.
When I say there's not an impact, there's not an impact that will degrade the system enough where we have to put traffic signals up. I did all the Walmarts in the whole area. I went to Walmart, I had to put a signal. $200,000 signal, why? Because they were generating more traffic.
We need a few more.
So basically, Horatio Street is carrying, I think, a lot. 25,000 a day, and there's plenty of capacity. Horatio Street. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Horatio Street, wait, you're saying Horatio Street? No, actually, it's very underclass. It can actually handle a lot more. That's what I'm saying, if there was no impact, is this current system, Lane Road, Seymour Ave, even Horatio Street, northbound and southbound, they're under capacity. That means is the facilities can handle a lot more. They were built, designed to handle a lot more than they're handling. So as long as we come in and prove that we're not gonna overload the system, just like you have a pipe, okay, a pipe's carrying half that water, you fill it up, well, now that pipe can't water it, we overuse it. This is not true with the engineering, traffic, situation. I'm trustworthy of that because I was in traffic for about 30 years, 41 years in the DOT. So I trust our study, we have good consultants do it. We're not gonna be seeing, traffic signals put up anywhere because it just doesn't warrant it. Speaking of New York State, I'll warrant, they have to love it all. You have to meet certain conditions before you make physical changes. In fact, New York State won't make physical changes unless you meet some of these thresholds. In this whole system here, we're nowhere meeting those thresholds. Lady Road can carry 4 or 5 times the amount it's carrying. Even somewhere, we're already in PM and AM. It's carrying a lot more than it's carrying. With our density now being almost less than half, it's even going to be, there's even less impact than we even anticipate. So once again, our report's going to show almost double of what we're impacting. So.
You did a road study, but what about wastewater?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sewage
Sanitary.
and, flood runoff.
Well, the flood runoff, stormwater, we have to do a stormwater report. I was explaining that earlier. We have to show any water that's coming off here, once the development goes in, will equal what's coming out of the site right now. So I think I'm breaking this. I got it. Oh, there it is.
Who is this housing for? Campus housing, did I hear you say?
Yeah, one of the people who's looking. They wanna put a off-campus housing. For other classes, people who are taking care of masters, so we think about having KG from. Both have people. Next question, level, where when you run some electric, it'll be a level, these people. And- Like, softball, we'll be able to afford.
Can you explain to them? Shop, but can you explain to them, project is quite a bit away. Project up top is the one that we're really, that's going on.
Yeah, well, I can't say it's quite a bit away. I'll give you the time frame. Right now, this is under
You
site
don't
plan.
even, you can't say that, but you don't even have plans for it. You just got done saying, you just got done saying, there's a brick through it, the plan is going differently. Our main topic here tonight was to talk about the plan of the housing project that is basically done, that's going on.
Oh, this one here?
No, up
Pastel?
there, the one up by,
Pastel.
the one by 12.
Yeah, I can't talk about that. I know
what
what,
to talk about.
what,
I believe he was gonna talk about it.
Hey, I spoke and then I, yeah, and then
yeah, I don't represent, I don't represent Catskill. I can answer questions the best I can. I'm not their engineer. This piece, just so you know,
We're
just so you know.
doing something now, you're doing a great job. I just think that people are getting a little.
Okay,
Because we don't, like you said, you're bringing it out there. Your original plan's got a creek through it.
Yes.
It's gotta be changed. We don't even know what's gonna happen there. The main thing we're worrying about here is excess water, which you explained it us there.
Yeah.
And what's gonna go in there, we don't know.
All right, let
We
me,
know up top, the other project is 64 housings and a daycare center.
Yeah.
That's what we should be talking about. Not that it even affects the people in North Utica because it's way up by 12 North.
that's right.
Well, we should be talking, explaining to them, that shovel's gonna be in the ground a lot faster than your shovel's gonna be in the ground.
Yes.
All I'm trying to say.
Yes,
So,
their shovel's gonna be in the ground a lot faster than our shovel will be.
right.
That's correct.
Correct.
That's
You
correct.
don't even, they have a plan. They know what's gonna be built. You don't, right?
Hold on, hold on.
And I'm not.
Okay, hold on,
trying
hold
to
on.
Explain here.
Hold on,
we
hold on.
talked for hours
Okay.
on the phone.
We do have a plan. This is our plan. Like I was saying earlier, this is our plan. This is what's gonna be submitted.
But it's gonna be.
It's already submitted. We already have applications into Fed. And this is what we're gonna submit. What's gonna finally happen is, hold on. What's gonna finally happen is half of this is gonna end up being built. So our 5-year outlook, our 10-year outlook is gonna be different.
You don't have, you got an idea, but you don't, I get it, what you're saying, but you're saying the same thing I am. You're gonna submit this whole thing, knowing that it's gonna get cut.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but the good news is our, for the sake of the confusion. Let me speak for a second. If anybody's confused. Oh, confused? Okay. We have this plan already in the town. So now we're about to enter in the same thing at home. It's called site plan approval. We haven't done that yet. The whole secret process with this, the entire secret process, and we got a lot of it done privately. Our consultants got a lot of that secret requirement done. We have to submit under secret now for the remaining 36 acres. Knowing very well that 36 acres are not going to get developed. But we're going to submit that. So what we're actually submitting is, we're saying we're going to actually go for approval for a lot more than we actually know will be built.
I think,
Everything has to be.
Yeah, good question, yes. The average secret process, average. It's an average, about 9 months. Yes, because there's
So
a.
everything gets approved, not there, then what would be the next step? Then you would
Afterwards.
start your development?
Once the town gives us a negative declaration, that's what we're calling for. The town would say, we're going to give you a negative declaration. Two things could happen. Either one, okay, just build your site, a negative declaration. Go ahead. Or, happen, there'll be a neg deck with conditions. They're going to say, hey, here's your secret document. Okay, here's your environmental impact statement. In that environmental impact statement, once it gets approved, stamped approved, it's gonna have all the comments from the town and all the agencies. DEC, I know, is gonna tell us, I need to get to your point, DEC is gonna say, hey, guys, see lot 10, 11, 9, get rid of it. So he's gonna already, we already know that though.
Right, okay, so you already know going in that it's gonna have to.
Yes.
So once you get higher receiving, is that when you get developers to do all this, or do you?
Yes,
Like,
yeah, to your point, yes, but what, because there's millions of money being invested,
yes,
my principal on the whole is the guy who came in from England, this is, who wants to put the hotel up. We want a letter of intent. We want a contract, so I can't really stand here and tell you.
no,
Okay.
just wondering, like,
Yeah.
what is the time?
After that, once we get, after 9 months,
Yeah.
in about 3 months, they'll have a design for it. Okay, because we got an excellent point. Once we get, once we get that, secret done, then we know what we're gonna design, how much road we're gonna put in. We don't even know how much road we're gonna put in yet.
So it's a couple of years ahead. We can look at.
I think the point that,
Yes, yeah,
sir,
yes, yeah.
I think the point that he was trying to make is, I think the point that he was trying to make is that we're talking about this a little prematurely. The topic for discussion tonight was the other project. I understand you don't represent them. However,
You like Davis.
yes, and I don't mean to cut off your presentation because you're doing a very good job. However, I think that we need to stay on topic tonight. Tonight's topic was that project.
I was told we would come here tonight.
Understandable, and I'm sorry that you were misinformed. But once we get to that point, then we could discuss your project as well. You're welcome.
Secret process, environmental forms, that's all been approved to go out to the other agencies for their comments. Their comments will come back to us, we will review them again. Final approval, yes, the form has been completed as complete, and they can move forward to the next step of the process for developing the permit. Okay? So right now it is within the hands of the other agencies for their comments before we can move forward. And as we all know, sometimes they take a while. They do have 30 days from when they got the application to comment. Then we have 30 days for us to comment again to move forward. Okay? So that's kind of the short part of it. So it's still in the process of review. Dirt's not, shovel's not on the ground, it's not getting built tomorrow. It's still a ways off.
Can you explain to
Yes.
people on that housing, and I don't mean to interrupt people, but even on the phone with these people, getting all the information, want you guys to hear everything they told me. So can you explain to them, this all came out, now we're talking about the project of the
Yes.
Deerfield.
Yes.
It came out, certain people kept saying, low income, low income. Can you explain the difference to them, what workforce housing is?
Okay, so
Versus low income.
workforce housing. In order to qualify in this apartment, you have to show stable, consistent income.
Give them the dollar range.
I don't know,
90,000, something like that, right?
somewhere in there, yeah, somewhere in there, okay? So they have to show stable, consistent income. Section 8, normal Section 8 does not count as part of that stable income. So security does. Okay, so for people that, seniors that are on Social Security, that does count as stable, reliable income as low-income housing to qualify to go in one of these apartments.
Not Section 8.
Not standard Section 8 housing credits, however you want to word it, qualify.
is there a difference between standard Section 8 and some other form of Section 8?
I don't know the answer to that question because I'm not
Joe?
into it.
I don't know.
Okay. So we're clear, it's not Section 8 at all then?
That's what we were told, and that's what
All right.
we understand. It's not Section 8.
Excellent.
Okay? He was waiting actually before I didn't know. So he was first. So
You get a chance.
I understand this project, heard this project, okay? This is where Utica starts, correct? Okay. This is a highway, okay? You can't touch a highway or anything. Okay. So this project and this project here, you're gonna have wastewater. You're gonna have runoff water. You're gonna have, water, okay?
Yeah.
So where are the sewer lines gonna be put? Let me finish the whole question. Because if you start putting in anything and you're gonna go down Ratio Street with it, tear it all up, and put waste lines in here, sewer lines and everything, you cannot go past this point, because this is where Utica starts. When Utica built homes down here, they built underground piping and everything to serve these up to the town line of Deerfield. You cannot dump that stuff into those, because those pipes would not hold it. But let me say one suggestion to you, you might want to look into. Other side of this, you've got the town of Deerfield. The biggest waste disposal line, the biggest water line and everything runs up to SUNY College and, whatever, Wolf's thing. If you were to think about tying it in there, going down through Marcy, then to the wastewater plant, that might be a viable thing.
So,
And no engineer.
I'm sorry, not to cut you guys off. Which project are we talking about?
he's still, I think he's talking about both of them combined, the sewer and everything with them both combined.
All right. Continue, please. We need to, we need to stay on top.
Here, okay, folks, none of us back here can hear them. Please. No. Back here. Talk, please. This gentleman had a really good question. His concern was the ability to discharge wastewater, get our water, and we talked about stormwater, I think we talked that out. But I'll answer your question today. To your question, there's existing water, sewer, electric, gas, and fiber optic that run the entire length of Horatio Street. To your point you made earlier, also a line, sewer line, that runs Marcy to SUNY. We can't touch that. Why we can't touch that?
Yeah, I know.
Because when it was built, okay, we had to get our high truck company, Full Speed, Danforth, said we need all the capacity we possibly can. So they ended up, the town ended up signing an agreement to give the reserve capacity of the western, Marcy sewer system. They agreed to give that reserve capacity, which means what's left to fill up in the pipe. There's the pipe running half full, so there's half more left. Well, Marcy ate all that up with SUNY to get these jobs in the high-tech industry. What's here on Horatio Street is the same thing. We've met with L.
Yes.
He's the water sewer guy, okay?
L's the engineer for.
We're gonna meet with him again. We're going to the wastewater sewage department. We're going to the Mohawk Valley Water Authority. Find out just how much excess capacity there is. Okay?
These are all things that, for the past stone projects, are going through the same things.
Patco's going through the same well. That's why it's relevant, because I'm talking about the one big project.
And just so you guys know, any information you're looking for, as soon as we get things, we update them right to the top here at the website. It's right there on the main page. You can go there at a time, click on look on the news and see where we're at.
What's, great.
But our Town of Deerfield website, townofdeerfield.org,
Yeah.
if you go there, right on the main page, there are links to where we're at in the project.
Okay, it's nice to know. Thank you.
What could be confusing? This whole thing we presented in 2023. This was a part of our project. This was a part of our project. So the northern section, the councilman mentioned with Passtone, that has since been divided out. As Passtone said, it's not contiguous with the site, so we didn't violate any environmental law. Okay, we can separate it because I checked into it. I don't want to do anything foolish. But they can accelerate their site because they're only looking at 7 acres. We were going in with 36 acres. We know it's going to be slower. So we made an agreement. We'll sell you this. Okay. Oneida County's got the repeat version now. It's an independent piece of property. I no longer represent this. Our developers no longer represent this. So now we're just involved with the 36 acres.
Tell us. So why pick that place? You shut down.
Because when I walked the creek, for a heavy rainstorm, I walked it. I walked all 36 acres. As I went. The water wasn't over my ankle. It was still over my ankle. When I heard from our environmental, we paid for it, by the way, $30,000. They came back and said, Jim, whoa, wait a minute. We got a problem here. There's wetlands along here. Wetlands. How do you do wetlands? I walked the creek. It doesn't go over my ankle. Literally doesn't go over my ankle.
Real Creek doesn't either until there's a big rainstorm.
But I went after the rain. I went after the rain. I understand, but hydraulics got food. So our environmental people, it wasn't about what was wet. What percent was wet? They found wetland indicative vegetation. This is Canada soil. It's like a loamy soil. It kind of seeps through. It doesn't hold water like clay. It used to be an old farm. But they said they found vegetation because I went berserk when I found out how the hell can there be wetlands on a creek that I just walked and it's not above my ankle. It's just not about the wet. It's about the vegetation. It's about what they found. See, and there's cattails. But now with DEC regulations, you're gonna appreciate this. There's cattails all along Oakley Road for the highway ditches. They need those highway ditches. Why? So they don't want to get you home. That is basically a wetland. Isn't that crazy? But this is environmental protection. We don't argue with it. So now I got to go back to our owners, our developers, and said, guys, we're gonna lose like 10, 9, and probably 11. Yeah, 11. That's a lot of money. So we had to make a decision with the partner whether to go forward with this. The decision said, yes, we're going to go forward. I don't know how many acres is actually developable, but once again, I know it's maybe confusing, but we're going to present it as is because we don't want to re-engineer this thing. I can't ask our owners to put another $100,000 into engineering because we know we can't develop the full site because the full site is not going to have impact. All hell's not going to break loose when this is developed. Well, I didn't just have one.
I don't know off the top of my head what it is. We have them. It's 65,000. Yeah.
It's a tiered system based on bedrooms. So it's 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom.
I've had people in my neighborhood come around and petition, go crazy about this. Trying. I don't really. I'm not even buying for it. Where did I understand that.
I have a question over here.
Yep.
Go ahead.
You, ma'am?
The portion of the project that you are representing, sir.
Jim?
When housing tax credit a factor in the proposal that you have.
Say that one more time. I think I have the answer.
Low, it's different. Low income housing tax credits, any related factor in any of this that you have proposed.
No, because now we know that we can't, originally there wasn't beginning.
Because that was mentioned at a meeting I went to, your representative for the other parcel.
Yeah,
And
that's
it
just
was
confusing.
mentioned specifically by them,
Yeah.
that's why I'm asking, because
Yes.
it.
For the portion that I represent, we're talking to no subsidized housing people. The only thing we're considering, we have one individual, I don't know, it's not subsidized, they're looking at elderly, senior housing, because we know Deerfield just for the
Yes,
senior housing, but it won't be a subsidized. No, it'll be what they call market rate.
Okay, so,
Market rate is what you're paying, 2,000-3,000 a month, whatever, it's market rate housing.
so this is, so there's
Like
no
Deerfield Place.
percentage of area, property, limits, anything like that. Criteria.
Well, they can't afford it, they can't afford it. They have to,
I don't need to be.
in order to reach what we're gonna lose, for the DEC and Army Corps, they have to bring in some good quality developments that's gonna produce income for them. Okay?
Yep, that was my question. I just wanted to know what that was a factor.
You were the next ma'am, and then you after her.
No, I'm just saying, I mean, I live across from the Commons, and it was a big deal when they moved over there. Oh, they're gonna come, they're gonna destroy, they're gonna keep coming in the city, busload, it's gonna be low income. No, I couldn't afford to live there. Okay, so that's not true, it does not happen, and it will never happen. Market value.
You next ma'am.
Right.
I'm not worried about the housing thing right now. But
That's just what I understand.
I've seen it happen in factories, almost. And you- Oh, you want that?
Can we respond, please? Let us respond.
Work. Transfer. There's,
Patstone's gonna have security on site, 24/7. They'll have maintenance on site 24/7.
they're managing it too.
Patstone will manage,
Self-managed.
they're going to manage the entire project.
And we're even working with N.U.N.A to give them access security. We didn't, yeah. No, that was a good question. Thanks a lot. This is gonna be managed by Patstone.
You said you want.
Sure, as far as.
Well, once you pay all of it, brothers gonna run off.
You got a good, no, it's a good point, but that's speaking to my point earlier. We know that it's gonna be paving, it's probably not gonna be. But there's gonna be parking on it because the hotel requires. Lot, so does residential. Parking per unit. Every cubic foot per second of water that runs off that parking lot has to be detained on site before it's discharged off site. So what I said earlier is.
Okay, so it's gonna stay up there and then come down to the.
Yeah.
Another word for it would be like control runoff.
They're called detention. Hold the water and release it, same rate. Right off. All the water. No, because DEC on the other side. DEC's not gonna let us do that. Army Corps, we just went through them with Patstone. Underground spring. Oh, one of your board members. It's called artesian well. Somebody asked me what that is. That was an artesian. Yeah, that was, you're right, it was an artesian well. It's another reason why we couldn't put any foundation in. Luckily, we're stuck to 3 stories. My development, 10-story building up if they can. Deerfield says, hey, 3 stories and that's it, we're done. Yeah.
Yes.
What's wrong with my lake? Houses, there. That's what you're doing the house.
Yeah, we're doing the housing,
There's gonna be houses.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be loading. Middle.
Considered low income, considered
workforce,
workforce
low income housing. And like I said earlier, in order to qualify to rent one of those apartments, you have to show stable, consistent income.
Workforce housing.
That's reviewed here.
Yep.
Okay, so you get pension.
It's all acceptable.
That's steady.
It's study.
Good night, Dave.
That is, if you look at anything with Pass Home with all their projects, that is part of their application. You have to submit proof of stable funds. They have other ones in the other areas. Any other questions?
So you propose in the other part, so hotel, restaurant, and convenience store?
That's kind of the plan, but we do not, like you said earlier, we do not have anything set in stone, nothing in writing, say for sure this is exactly what's going on. This is coming. We have it, and it's basically in stone.
Right.
The only way it's not gonna happen is if something comes and blows it up.
Something in the other side.
It's still in planning phase.
Let's keep this to the Passstone project, please, because right now we're at 8 o'clock. I know we'd all like to get out of here sometime soon. Let's not muddy the conversation with what we don't know is going on. Let's keep it with Passstone, please.
Multifamily is the lower part of the this Passstone is the low workforce housing. They use the terms together. Workforce housing. Biggest size apartments in there would be a 3-bedroom apartment. So it's 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, and the daycare's on 30 per floor.
Per hour.
Yeah.
1,100. 50.
Yeah, something like that.
Lots
of
of
stone.
Sure, we don't have a control on that.
It's gonna be a
That's a possibility. We're not talking about that one because, like I said, that's not set in stone. This is. This is what we're worried about. This is what this is all about. So, any other questions about the Passstone?
Who may have said, did you say what exactly?
So we are in the secret review process right now, and the site plan review. So it's got to go through all the state agencies. They comment back for our meeting next month. Then we got to review everything, and they're looking at maybe starting to build possibly this fall. Maybe.
They have to meet.
They have to meet all these requirements. So the earliest it would happen would be late fall, early winter, possibly the next spring. That's the earliest it would happen. It's not happening next month. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit. Yes.
So when this is all set and throughout, and so is it gonna be a process where you go and you fill out an application?
Yes.
You have to submit something, is it
Yep.
gonna go through, so where was the application?
So it would go through
Or state?
it goes through Passstone itself.
Oh, okay.
Passstone to rent the apartment, it's got to go through Passstone itself, which they actually, if you look at some of their other projects, they have waiting lists. They have waiting lists before these things are even built for
Okay.
people wanting to get into
Very
these
good.
things. So, I mean, I've looked around, I've done a little bit of research, I haven't heard, obviously you got to weed through some of the bad things that people like to say, because no matter what, you can't make everyone happy. I'd say 98 to 99% of the comments I've seen on them have been good. There have been nothing but good things to talk about living there and dealing with Passstone. So, like I said, what I've read. So.
Any other questions?
Yeah, any other questions?
When is your next meeting for the town of Deerfield where folks can come and kind of have this conversation with you guys?
Second Monday of each month. September 8th.
Okay, you guys hear that? September 8th?
September 8th is the town board meeting.
September 3rd is the planning board meeting.
And again, please check the website,
Yes.
Yep.
townofdeerfield.org.
as soon as we get information.
Yes, oh yeah. And planning board is at 6 PM. Town board is at 6:30. Okay. Just to make sure everyone, that people confused. Planning board is 6 o'clock on the 3rd, 6:30 on the 8th for town board. And we are more than happy that people to come. We love people to come and ask questions.
We get a hold of Karen.
Yep. Yes.
There's a lot about infrastructure. We're going to tie into the Utica, Oneida County sewer system. I'm sure that is an hour and a half or whatever, Leland Ave, we're going to tie into that.
Next.
SUNY into that too, right? SUNY,
Mhm.
everything.
Everything.
Yeah. Let's hope that it can handle it, that's all. And that it's.
That's one thing that could possibly scale back projects too. That's why we send out to all these other agencies for the comments. Because they'll come back and be like, hey, hold on, I know, you guys do not have the capacity, so we have to cut all things back. So that's why we send everything out to these other agencies, so that they give us their comments. So that we can move forward, we can't just do it. We always ask for it from these other agencies.
They've always been good.
Yeah.
In providing. Look what happened in Yorkville, it's a small village, but look what happened. Cellars full of sewage.
Yeah.
Because it was old and outmoded, outdated, to handle it. I know a woman who had it up to here in her cellar, sewage, in Yorkville, right near the railroad track she lived.
Orange Ave?
Off Main Street in Yorkville, by the track. And it's all low and level there.
Any other questions?
Sorry, really.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys being here. I've been a legislator 22 years. I've never seen a supervisor, planning board come to a different municipality. I'm sure it happens. You guys will be here. We appreciate it, number one. Number two, the information as far as coming to your town board meeting and the website will be helpful for people to stay abreast of what's going on. As far as the connection, I represent Marcy also, and you guys have been communicating with Schwarzik, our engineer. The planning board has there been communication with our planning board on this project or the second project?
I think Patty.
Are you asking, have they been?
Yeah, have you?
I believe Patty has.
I have planning board chair.
Brian Scala.
Patty Goldman has talked.
Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
and she's our chairperson. She's the chairperson.
Thanks.
Of course.
I just don't want to cross it out, interrupt. I just wanted, I know I talked to you guys, I spent countless hours, I came to your meeting, and I just want you to explain everything to me, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood what I was trying to say. I know it's difficult to explain two projects at once, it's kind of confusing.
It is.
I was under the impression tonight coming to talk about, I think, because this one.
Well, unfortunately, like, yes, it's, we're here more about the top, but the bottom is kind of linked into it somehow, so you kind of have to have both a little bit, but we wanted to focus more on the past.
They could be, why I was trying to explain. Sure. What I'm saying.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.